Thanks, Dr. Grant. I just have some very brief comments because the real main attraction of this meeting is we have three great experts from very different types of colleges and universities here. These are people who are, colleagues of mine, and I've known most of them for a good while. And they're going to talk about their type of institution and what makes that kind of institution unique from the other kinds of institutions, what the undergraduate experience is like in that kind of college or university, and how they do the admissions and financial aid process. I know that's a lot to try to get in 20 minutes each, but I trust that they're going to do a fantastic job of that. Before I introduce our speakers to you, I just want to give you a brief overview of what we've done with your sons thus far with regard to the college decision process. The first thing we did with your sons in January was we had a 2-day college planning workshop that we did in small groups. We broke them up by counselor. We pulled them out of their English class for 2 days. English teachers are delighted because that's when they're grading their final exam essays. And so they need that time. We can use that time. So in that 2-day workshop, we kind of went over all of the stuff that's in that blue booklet that you guys have in front of you. That is a great resource for both you and your sons for this next 9 or 10 months of navigating this process. And I say 9 or 10 months because by December 1st of senior year, most of your sons will have done all of their college applications and they will be waiting to hear back from their schools. Okay? Right after we had that 2-day college planning workshop where we talked with your sons about how to do the college planning process the correct way and all of the dynamics that go into it, we had an individual meeting with your son. And in that individual meeting, we tried as best we could at that time with the information that they provided us, not only in the meeting, but through some surveys that they took for us. We tried to come up with a good working, I call it a first list of colleges. And I emphasize that word first because that list is going to change. It's going to grow, it's going to shrink. Some schools are going to rise to the top of that list. Other schools are going to get crossed off as they start researching these schools and talking with you guys about planning visits and so on and so forth. Okay? Now we don't leave it at that. We will have another small group family meeting with each of you and your sons in April or May. And that's to refine the process, to see how you as parents feel about that first list of colleges, to talk with you about, what your thoughts are, what your concerns are. Sometimes we revise the list in that meeting because maybe your son said, well, I definitely want to go to the Southeast or the West Coast, and you're thinking, well, that's fine, but we need some schools in the Midwest, whatever. So we'll have that individual family meeting with you in April or May to talk about all the next steps in the process and to talk about the ever-important part of the process called financing. So again, we're not there to pry into your financial affairs, but to help as best we can to get you ready for how the financial aid and scholarship process works and to answer your questions about those things. Okay, in September, once your sons get back, and hopefully in the interim, you guys have done some college visiting, and you've done lots of college research. In September, we will meet one more time on a mandatory basis with every senior individually. And the focus of that meeting is kind of the application process. That's time to actually get the ball rolling. So September sounds awfully early, but like I said, between September, October, and November, these college applications are going to be going out. And by December 1, most of them are going to be already submitted. So we'll guide your son through that process to make sure he knows how to use the Naviance program, how to use the Common App online, how to request transcripts, and all of those kinds of things. I can't tell you enough how important it is when you get the list narrowed down a little bit to visit these campuses. Okay? It may not be practical to visit all of them if they're all over the country. It can get costly, it can get time consuming, but as many as possible, you want to try to get on that campus, and preferably when school's in session. Okay? I know that's a challenge, but because we believe that it's important to see the college when it's in session, we give our students 2 excused absences in the second semester of junior year to use for college visiting, and 3 more in the first semester of senior year. Those they can use at their discretion. They just have to let Mr. Kesterson's office know when they're going, and obviously obviously have to coordinate with you guys. Summer visits are fine if you can't visit during the school year, but you're going to see a rather empty campus at most schools. Also in the summer, you and your sons will get a mailing from the counseling office. It's a very critical mailing because what it is, it's a survey for the students and for the parents for you all to fill out to make sure we're not overlooking anything about your son so that we can write the absolute best letter of recommendation that we can write for your sons. So it's your opportunity to brag about your sons, to talk about why you think they would be a great asset to a college community. It's your son's opportunity to tell us about all the things that they found most valuable in their high school experience, whether it's in the classroom or out. And we rely a lot on that information. So we give you all summer to work on it, okay? But by the beginning of senior year, we'd like to have those back so that we can actually start writing for students who are applying early in the process. Finally, before I introduce the speakers, the booklet that we gave you, the College Planning Seminar Handbook, in the back of that booklet is a long list, an alphabetical list of all of the colleges that our students have applied to over the last 5 years. And there are statistics for those colleges. It'll tell you things like the lowest GPA that was accepted by that college, the average GPA that was accepted by that college from our students. Same with test scores. I would implore you to look at that, but not to view that as the be-all and the end-all. Statistics are only as good as statistics. They can help guide you a little bit, but those GPAs and those test scores should never be interpreted as rigid cutoffs. There are lots of different factors in the admissions process that you'll hear from our great speakers here that go beyond grades and test scores that they're looking at when they're evaluating candidates. But that table is there just to let you know what our history has been with those colleges over the past 5 years. So we hope you find that helpful. I'm going to be quiet, get out of the way here, and I'm going to introduce our speakers. We have first Stephanie Ballmer. Stephanie is from Dickinson College, which is a fantastic small liberal arts college in central Pennsylvania. Outstanding programs that you'll hear about. But she'll be speaking about the whole liberal arts college experience and kind of, how that's unique. Next to her is Julie Shimapukaro, and Julie is Director of Admissions at Washington U, my alma mater, thank you. And Julie will be talking about life at a highly selective, medium-sized private research university and kind of how that admissions process is a little bit unique. And then we have our junior member of the panel, who is our rep from the University of Missouri, Tim Eggleston. Now, in the advertisements, it said Barbara Rupp was going to be here. Barbara got snowed into Columbia. So Tim, graciously, is filling in for Barbara, and she's got every confidence, and I do as well, that he's going to do a fantastic job talking about life in the admissions process at a big flagship state university. In his case, University of Missouri, Columbia, our flagship state university. So I guess I'll ask Stephanie to go first, if you don't mind.
Happy to.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you very much.